Have you ever thought about what happens after, like, after a pet dies? That's what we really like to think about,
Mm.
you know.
Sure.
But today we're going to do a deep dive into pet burial and some of the unexpected consequences that can happen.
Yeah, it's really fascinating, actually. We're looking at a firsthand account from this dog professional.
Oh,
Over 20 years of experience they have. And it's kind of cautionary tale about um, dangers that maybe a lot of pet owners aren't aware of.
so get this. We're talking about this Siberian husky named Tully, right? And his owner had just buried another pet, a tiny little dog, like 2 pounds, in the
Yeah.
backyard.
Yeah. Sad. Heart failure.
Oh,
And so Tully, being a dog, great sense of smell,
yeah.
found the grave, dug up the box with the dog in it, and ate the whole thing.
Oh, no. Can you imagine?
Yeah. So they found Tully stumbling around the yard, weak, uncoordinated, suspected pentobarbital poisoning.
I was going to say, for people who don't know, what does uncoordinated even mean for a dog?
So this means like neurological problems, like he was ataxic. So trouble with balance and coordination, like he was drunk. It's a symptom of pentobarbital poisoning.
Oh, wow. And this is all because of that little dog being buried.
Yeah, pentobarbital is the drug that they use in euthanasia. It doesn't just disappear. It can stay in the soil and be a danger to any animal that might dig it up, like even years later.
Years, really?
Yeah, there was this one study, animals died from eating remains that had been buried for 2 years. So it's a real danger.
Wow, I had no idea it could last that long in the soil. So was Tully okay?
Yeah, thankfully they got him to the vet right away. They did lipid therapy and fluids to help him, but he did temporarily lose his sight.
Oh, poor guy. I can't believe such a small amount of pentobarbital could do that.
Yeah. It's interesting. The source mentions that the pet was only given 1 ellet of euthanol, which you think is tiny, but the science behind it is that it's potent.
Well, it's not just how it affects them, huh?
Exactly. And it also depends on their age and health, breed, all these things.
So is it even legal to bury your pet? What's the law?
Well, it depends on where you are. This case kind of highlights a gap in the awareness. Because the source mentioned it wasn't illegal in their county. And most of their state, it's not illegal.
That's kind of surprising. You'd think there'd be rules about this.
Right, but it's not just legislation. Like the source, she's a dog professional, said her vet never even mentioned it could be risky.
Wow. You'd think a vet would know about that.
Right. It makes you wonder how many people don't know.
So what can you do to be safe about it?
Well, first you got to research the laws wherever you are. Don't assume it's okay just because people do it.
Right.
And if you are going to bury a pet, talk to your vet about these special burial bags.
Oh, what are those?
They're made to prevent the stuff from leaching into the soil.
Interesting. Are they expensive?
I don't think so, but that's the thing, right? Most people don't even know to ask.
So it sounds like there needs to be more awareness around this whole thing. Vets need to be telling people and people need to be asking.
Absolutely. It's not about blaming anyone. It's about helping people make good choices for their pets and the environment.
Speaking of the environment, I'm curious, what happens to wildlife if this stuff stays in the soil so long?
That's a really important point because it's not just about pets. It's the whole ecosystem. Birds of prey, foxes, anything that might dig around or eat something that's died could get exposed.
So even if you bury it deep, it could still be a problem.
Exactly. It can get into the water, the soil, and then, work its way up the food chain.
Wow. It's a lot more complicated than you'd think, right?
Yeah, it's a hidden danger that deserves more attention. But luckily, we have options if we know about them and take precautions.
That's a good point. It's easy to get overwhelmed, but we can make choices to protect our pets and, the planet.
For sure. And one of the most important things we can learn from this is personal responsibility. This person, the source, she made a mistake, even with all her experience, but she's sharing her story to help other people.
That's really cool of her, turning a bad thing into something good. Do you think she feels like it's helping?
It seems like she does, yeah. She even pushed her vet to start telling people about the risks, which is great.
That's awesome. So it's even professionals can learn something new. What about everyone listening? If they're thinking about this with their pet, what's the main thing to remember?
Don't assume you know everything about burial. Research, talk to the vet, and look at all the options.
Yeah, good point. And there's always cremation too, right?
Yeah, cremation. And those burial bags we were talking about, those are specifically designed to stop the pentobarbital from getting into the soil.
Oh, yeah. You said they weren't too expensive. How do they even work? Are they easy to find?
They are getting easier to find, yeah. They're usually made from biodegradable stuff, so they break down naturally, but they keep everything contained.
So it's like an extra safety net for the environment.
Exactly. A simple thing that can make a big difference.
This makes me wonder about like the bigger picture, though. If it stays in the environment for so long, what happens over time? Could it be like a bigger problem that we don't even see yet?
That's a good question. And to be honest, we don't really know for sure yet. We need more research to really understand what happens long term when pentobarbital is used so much for euthanasia and burial.
So there's still stuff we don't know.
Yeah, definitely. But we do know even small amounts can be dangerous, like with Tully. So if it builds up in the environment, it makes sense